It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. And our conversation with Brian Boone is brought to you this morning by Marcus & Mack, voted Best Personal Injury Law Firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Now, the book is called Strange USA, Historical Oddities, Roadside Rarities, Unique Eats, and Amazing Americans. And it comes to us from the same people who bring us Uncle John's awesome bathroom reader. And Brian Boone is on the line with Brian. You must have had so much fun doing this.
These books are just a lot of fun. I got a good gig. I find cool stories, and I bring them to the people, and I love it. And this one was especially fun because we just had so much good Americana that just made me proud to be an American. This is a big country full of lots of really interesting, unique people with unique takes on the world who did something cool and left a legacy. Yeah.
Besides the fact that we find out today that Benjamin Franklin is still pinching people's butts, it makes me wonder, are these factoids that you came up with while preparing the bathroom reader and you said, hey, that would make a great other book? Or how did you come up with the idea?
Well, yeah, we were compiling our bathroom readers like we always do. We've got our research library, and we pour through magazines and newspapers, and we get on the internet. A lot of our moms send us newspaper clippings from their hometown newspapers, and we just realized that we had all this great stuff that was about just America. Because usually we include a little science, a little pop culture, but we had so many little bits of American kind of roadside attractions and little facts like that we said. Summer's coming up. Let's do like a road trip book. Let's do Uncle John's Backseat Reader. This is a book that you can keep in your car instead of your bathroom, and rattle off fun facts as you drive through the country on your summer road trips.
Well, talking as we are right around the 4th of July holiday, of course, that's a good place to start with this thing. And the 4th of July has a really special place, obviously, in American history, but probably for more reasons than people realize.
That's right. July 4th is kind of what we look at as the official founding of the country, because that's when the Declaration of Independence was fully signed and ratified. So it looms large in history, and John Adams desperately wanted to live to see the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the founding of America that he helped create. So he wants to live to see this, and he's 92 at the time, and he barely holds on. He dies at the age of 92 on the 4th of July, 1826, and his last words are, and this is verified, this is true. It sounds made up, but it is true, like everything else in this book. His last words are, "Thomas Jefferson lives. Old rivals with Thomas Jefferson, once friends, both founding fathers, rivals since the election of 1800, pitted against each other. It's regarded as the birth of negative campaigning. They said such nasty things about each other. So kind of rivals throughout their life." So his last words are, lamenting the fact that Thomas Jefferson dies. Little does he know that Thomas Jefferson died earlier that day. So Two of our first three presidents, founding fathers, both died on the 4th of July, 50 years after the Declaration of Independence.
A lot of the content in Strange USA has to do with our founding fathers or our early history as a country. There's a fascinating little item on Abe Lincoln, fashion icon, that we might not really have realized. But Abe was right there in the pages of Vogue, or he would have been if there had been such a thing.
That's right. He was very thin, and he was also very looked up to for that. But it was a little girl wrote him a letter and told him that he should have a beard. So this little girl named Grace Bedell of Westfield, New York, wrote a letter to him dated October 18th, 1860. And she said, "You would look a great deal better for your face is so thin. All the ladies like whiskers, and they would tease their husbands to vote for you, and you would be president." And so Lincoln wrote back, "As to the whiskers, having never worn any, do you not think people would call it a piece of silly affectation if I were to begin it now?" So that famous beard that he has, that around the face deal that we so associate with Lincoln, was suggested to him early in the at the tail end of the 1860 election, and apparently it helped.
Yeah, well, it certainly did, and it was a part of American lore. And there were a number of presidents after him that wore beards. They don't do that anymore, though.
It was the style of time for presidents to have beards, from Lincoln to Ulysses S. Grant to James Garfield, and then Teddy Roosevelt kind of came in with the mustache and kind of killed it after that. Like I can't think of a president in the last 100 years who's had any sort of facial hair.
Yeah. Well, presidential history, American history, that's one part of Strange USA, but it is so much, there is so much more in the book that it's just wonderful to read and fascinating. I like the item about the Family Circus comic strip that we read in our newspapers. But then, like I said, there's so much packed into here. I can't imagine that you can remember everything. If I were to just turn to a page and open it up, that you would say, oh, yeah, there's this. But
there's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. That's a good value, we think, and there's just so much that we couldn't put everything in. But I feel like we put everything in because there's just so many fun stories to tell.
And there are so many more books to come, right? Absolutely.
We've always got stories to tell. There's always things happening, and untold parts of things we do know about. And we'll never run out of ideas.
Brian, how many people are involved in putting one of these books together?
There's about a half dozen of us on the creative end, and then the publishing team and things like that. So it's really just a 3 or 4 of us putting these things together, from researching to writing to editing.
And the computer is such a big part of it all, but I imagine that there are quite a few just random things that you've clipped out of magazines and newspapers and things of that nature too, that you're compiling all together.
Oh, sure. We've got years and years of magazine clippings, and we've got a pretty big research library that we get from, garage sales and yard sales and thrift shops. And, we hear things on the radio that we write down, or we, see a documentary, or we remember a story that happened years and years ago, and we look it up. So you're not going to find a lot of this stuff on the internet. It's just not living online. You got to go back to the books to find the good stuff.
Yeah, indeed you do. For instance, where else are you going to find surfer slang? A whole section on it.
Right.
It's just
right.
Amazing.
Surfer slang. I mean, you got to go meet a surfer, or you grab this book and then you're good to go.
Yeah. There's
Moondoggy.
There are some wonderful quizzes and multiple choice questions throughout the course of the book as well. When you think about putting it together and you have all of this material that you're going to compile into one book, I know that there's a lot that's not going to make the cut, but just fashioning it and formatting the book has to be quite the challenge.
It's a challenge, but it's a fun one. We kind of will sit on something for a while if we're like, well, those two stories go good together, but let's wait and see if there's maybe a third one. So it's the fun and the craft is in deciding kind of what goes together and what fits and what goes in and what goes out. So
I laugh because as I go through the book, I have so many bookmarks in here. It's like, ask Brian about this, ask him about that, and, up and down the thing. But there's this one section, honk if you voted. It's just a single page in the middle of the book where it's bumper stickers, and
yes,
and they're hilarious. You don't see bumper stickers anymore, do you?
People don't. I feel like people used to do those a lot, but I feel like things have gotten so heated one way or the other that it's hard to put that on there. But it used to be kind of a fun to drive around and joke around. Like there are a lot of pros and cons in politics. My kid is an honor student and my president is an idiot. Like you could apply that to it doesn't matter which affiliation you are. You can if it's your time or it's not your time, you can gently agitate the other side.
Yeah. I guess you see these more on T-shirts and Instagram nowadays than you do on bumper stickers. But the thought is the same. The feeling is the same. Like a woman's place is in the house, and so
right.
And Senate. So just putting them all together to come up with this wonderful reader, Strange USA, Historical Oddities, Roadside Rarities, Unique Eats, and Amazing Americans. Brian, where are we going to find this?
You can get it at your local bookstore. You can get it at chain bookstores, Amazon, of course, and our website is portablepress.com, and we've got a lot of books on there and a blog to read more fun historical facts. Yeah,
portablepress.com is the one. People should bookmark that because there are tons and tons of other materials up there that you guys all put together as you go about probably the most fun job in the whole publishing industry.
That is absolutely correct.
It is called Strange USA, Historical Oddities, Roadside Rarities, Unique Eats, and Amazing Americans. His name is Brian Boone, and he's been kind enough to spend some time with us here today. Brian, thanks so much.
Hey, thank you so much. It was great to be here.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.